The role of women in politics has been brought into sharper focus in recent weeks as several senior female politicians have called time on their careers in Canberra. Women occupy just a third of all seats. After the next election, that number could fall lower. While some efforts are being made to get more women elected, they're often up against a belief that politics and motherhood don't mix. Here's political reporter Jane Norman.
I call the member for Adelaide.
Yeah. I first stood in this chamber almost 15 years ago. On many occasions over recent months, I've been accused of being young and idealistic. To this, I plead guilty as charged. I guess you could say that my idealism has been challenged at times.
At 41, Kate Ellis has spent more than a third of her life in this place. And like Kelly O'Dwyer,
today I rise in this chamber for the first time as the very humble yet proud member for Higgins.
Priorities have shifted.
Livy and Edward, you make my heart sing, and I love you more than words can express.
In 10 years, Kelly O'Dwyer has risen from the backbench to the inner sanctum, breaking glass ceilings along the way. The first woman to have a baby when in cabinet, the first woman appointed to a cabinet treasury portfolio. Kate Ellis has been quietly blazing a trail of her own. At 26, she was the youngest woman to take up a seat in the lower house.
I, Catherine Margaret Ellis.
And 3 years later, became the youngest ever federal minister.
When I came in, it was certainly made apparent to me that it was unusual to have a young woman, and so I felt that I really needed to prove myself.
Being a young woman in a male-dominated world, she felt a double standard.
I encountered a lot in terms of gossip, smears that were spread anonymously.
They go to the bottom of the chum bucket as usual, Mr.
But among the sound and fury,
they can shout over there, but they can't deny the truth.
There has been progress.
What's that?
A childcare centre's opened on site. Cots are available for parents and concessions are now made for breastfeeding mothers who can't make it to the chamber at a moment's notice.
I just remember the story around what the government whip said to Kelly O'Dwyer with her first child when she was basically told, you can't be breastfeeding so often, you need to pump more milk because we need you in the chamber.
I educated the office on what it was to be a nursing mum. I think in fairness to everybody, I think not everybody really understands, how challenging it can be.
Which goes some way to explain why few women have attempted the juggle. Politicians spend 20 weeks of the year travelling to and from Canberra, and when they're here, the pace is frenetic, the hours long and unpredictable.
Almost every working family would say that you rely upon whoever makes up your village.
For Kate Ellis, that village included her parents who basically moved to Canberra. In Kelly O'Dwyer's case, her husband took a step back so her career could move forward.
I think this assumption that only women can care for children, I think is a false one. I think most families know that, Caring responsibilities are for both parents.
Kelly O'Dwyer and Kate Ellis leave politics hoping their careers will prove to the women who follow that it is possible to be a parliamentarian and a parent. On the face of it though, their departure suggests otherwise, that this place still has a long way to go when it comes to welcoming women into positions of power. They both agree that the way to change that is to elect more women, to ensure this parliament reflects the people it represents.
To my beautiful Sam and my adorable Charlie. Recently, I've been worried that you two might grow up and you might read about my decision to leave Parliament and feel bad that I decided to leave a job that I love for you. So I need to make one thing very clear. I'm leaving a job that I love for me.
The decision's made, the pressure's lifted, and a life beyond politics beckons.